some of our coastal communities that are already seeing that water rise. As Matt showed you guys this image about 30 minutes ago. This is an airport in Everglades City. There's usually a runway here, but now take a look at the water. The water levels have risen in Everglades City. We've seen some incredible photos sent in to us by some of our viewers of the flooding in the area because of the water levels rising, and continue to see this happen across our coastal communities as we are approaching that high tide, as many of us will be hitting that high tide as we head into the overnight and early Thursday morning hours. And we're beginning to get that onshore flow kicking in, which is leading to that water pushing towards the coastline. Here's a look from the Sanibel Lighthouse. Let's see if we could get that camera to turn. Perfect timing. You could see all that water rushing to the coast. You could see how it's pushing across the palm trees onshore. That water just going to continue to push further inland as we progress through the evening. Nasty looking view of the Naples Pier for this evening. Again, water rushing in, water levels rising, which I'm going to show you the rising waters in just a moment here. I want to show you Bayview Park in Naples. You could see just how high they're getting to encroach across the bushes there. Marco Island, just how powerful those waves are as they're crashing towards the coastline. And another look of Marco Island. Look at how the water is pushing so far inshore, beginning to work its way into those cabanas there. Now, here's a look at the current water levels. Let's see here. I'm just going to go back 1 second, because it passed over you guys real quick. So I do want to take a look here. So Venice, water levels rising. Mayaca River almost at 3 feet. Shell Creek, Peace River in Arcadia rising there. And really that's the case across Southwest Florida. As you can see, 2.5 feet for Fort Myers right now. St. James City rising. Fort Myers Beach, those water levels are rising. And then as we push south into Collier County, Naples seeing some flooding, 3.5 feet. Rising water levels in Marco Island as well as in Everglades City. So now here's a look at the latest with Hurricane Milton. As of the 7 o'clock advisory, so just came in moments ago. As I said, the center of the storm about 30 miles to the west-southwest of Sarasota. Sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. Still a powerful Category 3 hurricane. Central pressure at 952 millibars, and it is moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Here's a look at the cone as we're expecting it to weaken as it pushes over land. Basically, the interaction of the land will cause it to break down. Not only is it currently dealing with that sheer and dry air, but once it works its way over land, we'll see that take place. And then it is going to be working its way back out into the Atlantic as we head into Thursday afternoon. So we're going to continue to feel the impacts associated with Milton for the rest of tonight, overnight, and into our Thursday morning. Here's what we're currently seeing on Wink Live Doppler 3X, 3 times more accurate radar. You'll notice some outer bands pushing through, bringing some showers our way. Not seeing any signs of rotation right now. I know that was such an issue for the first half of the day, but that threat no longer with us at this point of the evening. And so just checking in on the wind velocity, we're just going to sample a few of these areas to kind of see just how fast those winds are kicking. So this is sampling our winds. We're going to take a look closer to Port Charlotte. 57 mile per hour winds being picked up there. Let's see, near Englewood, about 82 mile per hour winds. Very powerful winds associated with this storm, and you can see they're even stronger offshore. We could take a closer look at that. Sample of 118 miles per hour. So again, still a major hurricane. Even though we have seen some of that weakening, we're still going to be dealing with the impacts as we progress through the rest of the evening. And I do want to show you a timeline here of the severe weather threats. So heavy rain and storms expected for the rest of tonight, overnight, and that's why we've had that flood watch in place that'll actually last until tomorrow. As with Milton and even before Milton, we had multiple inches of rainfall leading to some very static gusts. Our damaging wind gusts over 75 miles per hour will continue tonight, overnight, and into our Thursday morning. That's why we do have the potential for some power outages, which I'll show you guys in just a moment who's seeing the power outages at the moment. Tornado warning still not out of the question, and our surge, again, we're we're seeing those water levels rise. So that's going to be a threat overnight and into our Thursday morning. 8 to 12 feet possible for Lee, Charlotte, along Collier County, expecting about 5 to 8 feet. Here is, I'm going to show you guys a power outage map. This was just updated moments ago, and more than 64,000 people in Southwest Florida without power. In Collier County, seeing more than 4,000. Lee County seeing almost 22,000 without power. About 2,600 in Sarasota County. Strong winds and gusts. This will definitely be a threat for us. So I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio, and we're going to just keep in, and we're just going to continue to be monitoring those water levels as well.
All right, Nikki, thank you very much. We have some breaking news coming in. We were hearing from Cape Coral that the Cape has now suspended emergency services on their streets, adding to Charlotte County, which told us that a little bit while ago. Lee County is telling us they are still out there, the sheriff's office, they're still out there on the streets. But again, they'll make a decision at some point when it becomes too dangerous for them to be out there.
That's right. And so now is a good time for us to catch up with the public safety director. I'm sorry. They're telling us something right now. We're making a change right now. Okay, we're going to go to Fort Myers damage.
Do we have someone on the phone, I believe?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to go to Carlin Stage. He lives near Allen Park Elementary School in the Fort Myers neighborhood. Carlin, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
So, Carlin, I know that area very well. Both of my children went to Allen Park Elementary School, so I know that neighborhood well, and I hear you had quite a shakeup this evening.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we're on Passaic Avenue here, right down from Allen Park. And around 12 o'clock, we got all those tornado warnings. And we were listening to it on, we were watching the TV, and then our power started to brown out as the wind picked up. And I got my little battery-powered radio out and listened to it creep closer, and heard the winds pick up. And it we got some pretty strong winds during Ian. And I tell you, this wind this time was much louder and much scarier. And we all sheltered in our bathroom in the house, because that's like our most interior room with the most walls between us and the south, as we were instructed. And it was very scary sitting in there hearing the wind whip and hearing the power lines arc and everything. And but we're very thankful to get through it.
I bet you are. And I think we're looking at pictures of your home. You have it all boarded up and shuttered up, and you still could hear things loudly like that, huh?
Yes, I believe the pictures I sent in were of my neighbor's. His mango tree split and fell right on his roof, and we got out there once the band had passed. We got out there once the band had passed and kind of assessed everything, and then another one of my neighbors, their oak tree like split, and their pine tree split, and it cracked the windshield on one of their vehicles, and then we luckily have no damage to our house, but my poor neighbors have a tree sitting on the roof.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, I take it you were able to go outside for now. What are you hearing now? Are your winds picking up again? Are you able to hear any changes now that we're seeing more of those tropical storm force winds in the area?
Yes, yeah, we can definitely hear the winds picking up, and we can hear debris scattering across the roof. It's definitely starting to act like it's picking back up again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like it. I'm sure going into you probably don't have a lot of light in your house given the shutters and the plywood that we see anyway, which always adds to that. But what other plans did you make for this? I know tornadoes are unpredictable, but it looks like you really planned for this hurricane to keep your house safe.
Right. Yes. Our power was restored after the tornadoes passed. Luckily, I mean, we're here. We're in Zone C, so we were gonna stick it out unless we were told to leave. But my job is in public safety, so we had a secondary plan I could have pulled out to our office, which is out off Daniels, but we were going to stay at the houses if we could.
Right. Well, you being in public safety, you have the background that you need to make sure to keep your family safe. And a lot of people like you were in Zone C or higher and still experienced the tornado damage that came along with this storm today. So we're glad that you and your family are safe, and we hope that you continue to stay safe. And I'm sure that neighborhood, everybody knows everybody else, so I'm sure you'll all work together to get everything cleaned up once it's safe to do so.
Yes, we will. Yeah, we're fairly tight-knit here, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Thank
well,
you so
Carlin,
much, Carlin,
for
sharing that with us. What a day you've had.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. We're going to show you around some of the other areas in our viewing area that are having issues right now. This is flooding in Punta Gorda, a neighborhood right near the Peace River. This is Prairie Creek Drive. Sent in to us about 2:30 this afternoon. A lot of areas, Aquiesta is coming up in our email a lot. Folks along there telling us they're having flooding, not too terribly far from here. So we're monitoring a lot of these neighborhoods to see, how much the water comes up, as I'm sure everybody that lives there is curious to see what's going to happen.
We want to take you to Hidden Acres in North Fort Myers. They had some strong wind and rain. Look at this that they caught on their camera, their home camera, and you just see all the stuff just blowing out of nowhere, debris flying everywhere. This was sent to us. Oh, you could just hear it in the, just listen to that. Just listen to that. Suspected tornado here, of course, as well. This happened and sent to us about 2:28 today.
Viewer video now that shows an intense storm in North Fort Myers as well, including, in this case, you heard him, transformer blowing. We got this about 2:15. All this right about the same time. Same neighborhoods, perhaps related to this tornado that we still need to confirm, but it's just killing to watch that.
That blue light, you just can't miss it.
Nope.
That blue light when a transformer blows.
it.
And what a good boy. The dog just listened to the owner and followed along just like he did. Probably knew something was quite wrong.
Yep.
We want to show you some video that shows the huge tree that was knocked over in the Fort Myers Villas neighborhood, not far from College Parkway, US 41. And oh, wow, look at how big that is. And that suspected tornado just took it down like that.
Yep, some more video of that same time frame this afternoon. This is down on De Leon near Colonial. We're going to show you the Wesley Memorial Church here. Damage from about, again, 2:15, around the same time, around the same neighborhood. This is De Leon, again, near Colonial. Other folks who live in that neighborhood told us about trees down a little further down De Leon in their neighborhood and things like that.
In Northeast Cape Coral, we have the picture of a snapped power line. Just take a look at what the wind did there on Garden Boulevard in the Northeast Cape. This was sent to us by a viewer at about 2:15 this afternoon, but you can see which way the wind was blowing. It just pushed all of the power lines down in the same direction. And that's how they remain right now. Hopefully not getting any worse as the hurricane or tropical storm force winds blow through.
Strong band of weather moving through on Hanover Street in Fort Myers this afternoon. Again, sent in around 2 o'clock. Again, all part of these neighborhoods that this might have been part of a tornado that went through areas all the way from as far south as the Villas, Bell Tower, up through Fort Myers, North Fort Myers. Before that, we saw perhaps some of this on Matlacha and Pine Island. But wow, look at that. That gives you a real sense of the power of that wind.
We also have some images showing some downed trees in Fort Myers. This is on La Palma Street. That's near Winkler Avenue. This was sent to us about 2 o'clock. Again, branches just broken right off, laid all over the sidewalks and streets. Fortunately, we're not hearing of any injuries or any other serious problems with these storms.
All right, we have a picture showing damage. This is also near Allen Park Elementary School, so just like the gentleman that we just talked to, but look at the damage there. So not too far from downtown Fort Myers. Sent in about 1:50 this afternoon, so same time frame. Possible tornado damage or straight line wind damage, but that is some of the most significant damage in one spot that we've seen all day.
This is one of the concerning situations we found today. People on boats in Englewood, or at least we suspect there are people on the boats. It was taken by Wink News reporter Taylor Wirtz at 3 p.m. She was hearing music coming from some of these boats, and we know some of these boats are liveaboards. There was a man who pulled up in his truck while our crews were down there, and he was just checking on his boat that he had tried to secure, and he was hoping that it was going to make it through the storm. And they heard music on some of the other boats, and we fear people may have been trying to ride it out on their boat. We hope everybody evacuated, but we just don't know yet.
Absolutely, and as we listen to the wind in that video and in some of these other videos, we're getting to the point where, just to make this even a little bit more difficult, we're going to lose daylight, we're going to lose the ability to see, but you're still going to hear these sounds around your house overnight, which makes it really difficult. Let's get to Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Matt Devitt. Matt.
Okay, so what we're going to do, Chris and Lois, this is a storm surge segment. We're going to be talking about how to understand the storm surge and also the water levels that we have right now. We have 2 NOAA sensors in Southwest Florida. Here is going to be one of them, and you can see that we are going up in our water levels. And I'm going to basically explain how this goes and where we're at right now. Let's go to full so you can see this a little bit better at home, and I'll talk about it over the picture. And in blue, that is where we would normally be for a given high tide without a hurricane. And where we are right now is we are at 2.95 for the water level. The storm surge is the difference between the 2 values. So the 2.95 and the minus 0.84, the difference between that, that's your storm surge. And that's between right now 3.5 to 4 feet in Fort Myers, and it's water levels, which are now approaching 3 feet. Now that value, if you look on the left part of the image, is called MHHW. So we have, that is called the mean higher high water. Think of it as an inundation number, and that's the most important. And the observed water level, that is the most important. So now what I'm going to do is take it to Naples. And you can see Naples right now is experiencing major flooding along the coast. So the blue line, that is the astronomical high tide, low tide. If we didn't have a hurricane, that's likely where we would be, or at least close to it. Now, what you see is that we continue to climb in our water levels in Naples, and let's sample this. And let's take a look at some of the observations. And it is, I'm going to try to click it as best as I can. Okay, so we are right now at 3.8 feet. So 3.8 feet is our water level that is right now observed. And the prediction was supposed to be minus 0. So the difference between those values, that's the surge. So right now the surge in Naples is about 4.5 feet. So we have about 4 to 5 feet of storm surge in progress for Naples. The surge forecast was 5 to 8 feet in Collier County, and right now the surge is about 4.5 feet. Now, what I want to bring up now, let's bring me back here in the shot, that we actually have models that can project what the storm surge is going to be as well as the water. So let's see if I can zoom on in a little bit here. Okay, so now the next is, remember I said the MHHW. That is a forecast of inundation in Fort Myers. So it shows that in Fort Myers, the black line is what the water level is forecast to hit. This gray area that you see, that's your best case and your worst case scenario. There's your best case and there's your worst case. So as we extrapolate that out, the best case scenario is that we see about 4.5, give or take, of water inundation. That's the best case scenario. For reference, Debbie was 3.2. Helene was 5.12. So the best case scenario is that we're between the two. The forecast has it, and let me show you this, in the black line, I would say that is between, it's roughly around 5.5. So according to the forecast, it is showing that we would have in Fort Myers half a foot greater of water level rise above Helene 2 weeks ago. So it would be a little bit higher than Helene. The worst case scenario, if just things just come together and are just not ideal, and worst case, it has it closest to Ian levels. That's right there. Ian was 7.25 for the highest water level in Fort Myers. Not the surge, the water level. And you can see the peak of that. We extrapolate that and move our finger all the way to the left, and it's between 6 and 8. So that would be, in a worst case scenario, closer to Ian. So that's our range, according to the NOAA model, for Fort Myers and what we can expect for what type of water level rise and surge. And then in Naples, let's take a look at this as well. Same deal. It's showing worst case scenario during Helene. During Helene, Naples had about 4 of that water level rise. Worst case scenario, it's showing 5. And then the forecast is about right now 4.2, so near or just a touch higher than Helene. Guys?
Much. We'll get back to more of that too with Matt later on tonight, because I know that as the night goes on is going to be what everybody's focus is going to be, is where's the water.
Right, and it's going to be dark outside. It's not going to be clear, and we're going to rely on those tools just to see what's happening outside.
Yes. We have the Lee County Public Safety Director on the phone now, Ben Avis. Mr. Avis, thank you so much for taking the time.